talking about this database that allows you to compare income taxation with capital flows. Also the program of voluntary disclosure, if I'm not mistaken, without the possibility for an amnesty, but and also this measure of making public the names of large debtors. Those three measures, we found them interesting. I would like to know your assessment about them, the results, if they really had an effect on taxation revenues. And also on taxation revenues, we were just checking the recent data, and we, even though there's a positive increase in taxation revenues, we saw there was a significant decrease from direct taxes, like of around 1 billion. Correct me if the figure is mistaken. I just wanted to know exactly the reasons for that, because, well, even though the general figure is positive, I mean, it's a relevant decrease, so maybe there's a particular reason that we don't know. I would like to ask you about that. Thank you.
Okay. Again, I'm going to start by trying to be honest. Confronting tax evasion and smuggling, whether tobacco and petrol, has been a more difficult task than we on the left assumed. So I've said it publicly in the Parliament. We thought it would be easier to address this age-old problem than it was. But given that, things are moving, and they've been moving in the last 1 year. It's part of the reason why we overperform, because the issues that you mentioned, all three issues that you mentioned, are not counted by the institutions as contributing to reaching your fiscal target, because they call them non-parametric measures. So a parametric measure is an increase in the rate of income tax or the VAT rate. That they consider parametric. These other issues, addressing tax evasion, they consider non-parametric. So the bad news is that we overperform, but the good news is the reason why, in part why we're overperforming, is we are addressing these issues. So we're addressing them with these kind of policies. We're also addressing them through increased use of electronic payments, which has helped to increase the collectability of VAT. The cross-checking is very important, and I'm very proud that within my ministry they worked out this software, which is it was a very, very difficult job. We had about 15, 20 people working for a year, throughout the year, with no holidays, weekends to get it. It sounds an easy thing. What is this cross-checking? It's cross-checking people's deposits with previous tax returns. And obviously, if Roberto has 1 million in the bank, and for the last 10 years he's been reporting 10,000 income a year, there's obviously a prima facie case that Roberto might not be squeaky clean. It's not necessarily the case. You might have some other things that you didn't have to declare which support your income.
Unfortunately, it's not the case.
Now, that sounds really easy. I mean, how difficult, but it isn't, you see, because I could have a bank account with 1 million in one Greek bank, and then I could take that 1 million and put it in another Greek bank, and then I could take that 1 million and put it in a third Greek bank, and then I could go and put it in BNP or in Deutsche Bank or somewhere. Now, that, of course, is not 4 million, it's 1 million. So you actually have to identify unique bank accounts, and that's why it was such a difficult programme to get, so that you don't get that Roberto has 4 million as opposed to the 1 million in the bank.
Becoming richer and
now, the problem has been that, so that helps also the VDI, because it's the stick. The carrot is, as you say, there's no tax amnesty. In fact, the institutions didn't allow us to have as much as the Italian VDI, which had more of a tax amnesty in. So what was the carrot? You didn't have to pay surcharges and penalties, but you would have paid. But you do pay what you would have paid if you left the money in Greece, but not the penalty. What's the stick? This cross-checking, because we know to give you a feeling of it, to find a person that there's something wrong used to take 8 to 9 months, now it takes 5 minutes. Obviously, the period after we found that person takes as long because there's an appeal case and you can come and say, no, that money was from, because I kept winning the lotto every other week or whatever, or whatever. But that is very difficult to squeeze. So that is quite important.